Guys, I hope you feel as comfortable as I do. I thought I'm gonna read a little bit from my book actually. It's called The Full Potential Relationship. Some of you may know it. And I wrote it some years ago because I used the model in the book, the soccer field model, das Fußballfeldmodell in German, a lot in coachings when it comes to living your potential, feeling safe within yourself, feeling calm, having self-confidence, and also to communicate with other people. How do you create a safe room for others and yourself? And how do you communicate in teams? How do you structure your emotions? How do you structure your conversations? And how do you create a united feeling within your team or any kind of group? And I wrote it down because people around me said, you talk about it so much, you need to write it down. And it was actually really relieving to write it down because I did not have to think about it all the time, and people could just read it, and that would be the first step to actually work with it. Of course, this is much easier to do in coachings because we can go much deeper and look at your exact situations and circumstances. But this is not about selling the book at all. I just thought that in this time it's really important to know how to set boundaries. So I wanted to just share this with you and read a little bit. Really, I start at the beginning, of course, and we'll see how far we come. There are exercises in it too. I'm going to read today the first part of it, just the welcome from the author, I call it, to explain a little bit about soccer, because it's not about soccer, it's about the lines of the field. And what I mean when I say relationship, the book is split in 3 parts really. So the first part is about yourself, the second part is about relationships with other people, and the third part is about you and relationship with teams and how you navigate teams. We're just using the image of a soccer field to help us do that. That little cheesy heart in front is actually the place where we communicate in the middle of the field. Both sides come together and we create an equal, respectful relationship. This is what the heart stands for. Now, let's start this. So I chose a quote and I wrote this I think 2015. The quote by Paulo Coelho: "When love rules, power disappears. When power rules, love disappears." I don't even know why I chose it. I just love it. It just feels right. And it makes a lot of sense even right now. So, welcome from the author. Thanks for picking up this book. If you find only one point in this book that you love and can take with you, then it was worth for me to write it and worth for you to read it. My best hopes are that by reading this book, you find a little more space and love within you to observe yourself and others without any judgment. I hope you gain even more awareness around your full potential, individually and in any kind of teams. We will talk about your balance in your life and how you can create room for communication in relationships. This book gives you ideas about how to set boundaries in order to fully live your potential and at the same time appreciate the feeling of unity in relationships. How do you communicate with someone who is different from you, or has other values than you do, or comes from a completely different culture? It also gives you tools for negotiation in meetings. I'll talk about how to welcome individual as well as joint growth, mindfulness, and how to reach your full potential within relationships. Relationships. When I talk about relationships in this book, I refer to any and every relationship you could think of in your personal and professional life, between you and your manager or team, between you and your mother, you and your child, between 2 different people from different cultures, between two friends or two lovers, no matter the gender or age or any relationship you may have. Your relationship guidelines. Just like in a soccer game, you have your own individual beliefs or set of rules around relationships. Throughout the book, I invite you to do little exercises and think about your own life. These exercises with your personal answers are the first step to define your individual relationship guidelines. For the second step, you can download a free PDF on my website to clarify your relationship guidelines. They will help you gain focus on your full potential individually as well as in relationships. Keep in mind that they are yours. You can change them anytime. Download a complimentary PDF now to have a full list of your personal relationship guidelines by the end of this book. You can do this on cockpitcoaching.com. Soccer. You don't need to like or know about soccer. When I talk about soccer in this book, I use the image of the field and some other aspects of it. Yet, this visualization is never about the actual game or about teams playing against each other or even winning or losing. Not at all. This book focuses on love in the most humanly possible way and on loving approach to every aspect of your life, especially every relationship. If you think about it, every single relationship in your life could use a little bit more love, no matter if you talk about personal or business relationships. Let's use the playfulness that any game is built on. Even as adults, we could allow ourselves to play or be creative more often. Approaching life and these pages with a playful mindset may open up new ideas and possibilities for you. The first part of the book talks about the relationship with yourself and how you connect with yourself. The second part is about your relationship with other people and what happens when two people are in a relationship. The third part of the book talks about your relationship in teams or systems, just like your family or business team. You'll quickly notice that I use the power of visualizations, a technique involving focusing on positive mental images in order to achieve a particular goal. Definition by Collins Dictionary. Visualizations and metaphors are effective tools accessible to all of us and used very usefully by sports heroes, presidents, senior executives, teachers, and plain Janes and ordinary Joes. Dr. Sarah McKay, a neuroscientist and brain health blogger, explains that imagining and doing are the same to our brain. I love that sentence and that quote. Furthermore, several studies in neuroscience tell us that what happens in our brain when we create new habits in our life and how we can train our brain no matter how old we are. That sentence did not make sense, did it? Okay. This is what I meant. Furthermore, several studies in neuroscience tell us what happens in our brain when we create new habits in our life and how we can train our brain no matter how old we are, so we can always learn and improve. If we allow ourselves to get out of our comfort zone and use the concept of creative visualizations like the soccer field, we are able to make shortcuts to our goals and live our full potential. Therefore, throughout part 2 and part 3 of the book, I use the metaphor of a soccer field to describe a relationship or unit and the balance between self-management and relationship management, which is a really interesting one. I have used my model very successfully with many of my coaching clients, as well as for myself in my own professional and personal life, indeed, especially in times like these. I think soccer field all the time. It may help you understand yourself and the people around you better and become more aware of the choices you are in charge of. That's a big one. This book is an easy read for everyone. I'm looking for simplicity in language and style because I believe less is more. I also invite you to question everything I write here and check in with yourself what's true for you or not. You will find that my model described in this book is not something that is outside of you, but it could become very individual and personal to you along the way. You can adjust it as you wish and take it with you and use it in any area of your life. If after reading this book you still would like to look even deeper, I encourage you to find a personal coach or leadership coach you can work with over a period of time. All names and identifying details have been changed to protect the privacy of individuals and assure confidentiality. Where there is love, there is open and respectful communication, a key factor to balance and connect relationships. Okay, so this was the boring beginning, but you kind of, it helps to understand what I mean with soccer and relationships and all that. So the first part is relationships within yourself. Is for next time.